Welcome back to the Fight Pit, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us once again. It is the boys in the house. UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Taira, going down October 12th at the UFC Apex. Intro music. What up? Thanks for joining, folks. It is so good to be back in the Fight Pit with you. We love coming in here, hanging with the boys, talking some fights, talking sports. You know how we do it. We like I always say, we are Minority Report. We got every sport, every screen, everything going. We are on top of it at all times. This week, we got UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Taira, October 12th at the UFC Apex. And this card, I think, is it's gonna surprise some people. There's some banging fights on this card. Some quick intros, of course. You know myself. It is Drew with High Fight IQ, aka Raw Dog, for all intents and purposes this week. To my right/left, welcoming back Gaugemus Maximus, the 12 Gauge himself. Gauge, good to see you, my man. How you doing today?
Oh, it's great to be back. Hurricane prepping, as is our third host of the evening down there, Mr. Sean Ryan Sports, Sean Ryan, aka Mr. Bad Beats.
Yep. The boys are weathering the storm for you this week, okay? So definitely bear with us, but you know us. Nothing's going to stop us from talking sports with you. And the Fight Pit is no exception. We will fight through whatever. Rain, sleet, snow, hurricanes, sickness, whatever it is, whatever it takes. We're here for you. Before we get too deep into these wonderful breakdowns, I would like to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Vivid Seats, online ticket marketplace where fans can buy and sell tickets to sports, concerts, and theater events nationwide. Vivid Seats has you covered. Vivid Seats believes there's nothing quite like being there. They're committed to getting you to the events you love more easily and more often. Vivid Seats truly believes in the power of shared experiences to connect people. They are relentless about finding ways to make your event discovery and ticket purchase easy, fun, and exciting. VividSeats.com, folks. They have over 1 million unique and in-demand events sold on their site. And they also have had over 19 million pumped fans that have found their event tickets through Vivid Seats. We will post our unique Vivid Seats link down in the description. If you would like more info, check out VividSeats.com. VividSeats, VividSeats.com. So thank you to Vivid Seats for sponsoring your boys, the boys in the house. Call Fight Pit. Now, we have got to cover just a little bit of the previous weekend's card, UFC 307. It's still a little too early in the episode for me to cuss, but please believe I feel like it right now because it was totally worth it. That was such a sweet event. Lived up to everything that I feel that it was hyped up to be. Sean, give me your thoughts on UFC 307. Anything that stood out, anything that you want to cover, anything you want to relive real quick?
I think that one thing we need to talk about is just the call-outs alone. We had one fantastic call-out being Joaquin Buckley calling out Kamaru Usman. Fantastic call-out. Even saying that, hey, the champ and who the number one contender is, you guys got your hands full. I'm putting my 5-0 record this weight class on the line. I'll take on your 0-3 record, but your number one slot. So I love that call out. And then there was one terrible call out, really terrible call out. Juliana Pena calling out a retired Amanda Nunes. That was at Disneyland this last weekend. She was in Disneyland. She doesn't give a damn about fighting at the moment. What are you doing? You have a clear number one contender on the same card as you, and you're calling out a retired fighter. Like, come on, stop the shit. That's what stood out the most for me when it came to that. But then obviously Alex Pereira and Roundtree, they delivered 4 rounds of hell. Like, we were all thinking 2 rounds, but Alex Pereira showed great fight IQ, taking it slow and getting the job done. Can anyone stop him at 205 is the question.
At this point, man, does not look like it. Does not look like it. Looks like we might have a light heavyweight champ for quite some time, as long as things keep going the way they're going. I don't see anybody touching them. And totally agree, dude. Juliana Pena. I have always loved Juliana Pena. She's always been one of my favorites in that division. Totally dropped the ball. That was just the number one way to guarantee that everybody completely writes off you winning and looking forward to your next fight, man. Kayla Harrison on the same card, getting the win that we expected her to get, but not in the fashion that we expected. Kind of left a little bit of, uncertainty along those lines. Maybe opens the door for somebody like Juliana Pena to be able to put up a tough fight against her. But trying to completely dismiss her like that was just such a bad look. Gage, what were the defining moments for UFC 307 for you, bro?
Jose Aldo getting absolutely robbed was a big one for me because I don't know how Batista responds the way he does as well, and that like, well, if you don't want that, improve your grappling. Okay, you're 0 for 10 on takedowns. I don't know how you got to score from that. And guess what? You got outstruck because Jose Aldo showed his experience, showed his an infinite gas tank, and that one irked me. Kevin Holland getting hurt, you hate to see it because that was going to be a great fight. And, my little bias because again, as I say all the time, Kevin Holland definitely top 5 fighters for me of all time. Just not because of the accolades or anything, just personality. Love Kevin Holland. And I might as well touch on it. Alex Pereira is maybe the baddest man walking the planet right now. Khalil looked as prepared and as ready as one can look standing across from Alex Pereira. Got to give him that. Gas tank fell short, started getting pieced apart. Alex showed that he has a great gas tank. He's not going to gas out. Can wait for his opportunities. Just weather the storm and just pick you apart at the end. Just technical striking. He doesn't have to blast your head off in round 1 to win. So it's going to be a difficult out for anyone at this point in 205. And I just don't know at this point if there's anyone that's going to stop him. I think up and down, it's just bad matchup after bad matchup after bad matchup. And Goliath, I just don't think he has the tools to do it. Alexander Raksha, great fighter, couldn't beat Yuri, and Yuri cannot beat Alex. So it's just there's levels to this shit, and at 37-year-old Alex Pereira is still at the top level.
Facts. If he's not pound for pound number 1, I don't know what we're doing here. I have no idea what we're doing.
We know
here.
what we're doing. We know what Dana's doing.
Oh yeah. I know what Dana's doing. Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. There's a couple decisions on that card and Dana said himself too, judging was atrocious. I tried not to be try not to be that guy to, hate on the judging as much, but it was rough. I thought Carlos Esparza got it. I thought Jose Aldo got it. And we cannot say it enough to piggyback on what Gage was saying. Kevin Trailblazer Holland, sir, if you are seeing this, we are going to have you on this show. I don't know when. I don't know how. It might not be today, might not be tomorrow, might not be this year. You will join us in the fight pit. So make a note. Make a note. We will be seeing you. All right. All of us will be here. I know Gage is not missing that for the world. Gage will be here. Gage will be here before any of us. He will be here a day early waiting for you on that one. That's how badly we want to have you on this show, Kevin Holland. So just to make that very clear, I'm going to state that every chance that I get. UFC 307, just such an amazing card. Broke my heart seeing Khalil Roundtree get finished like that, but man, he did everything that I expected him to do. Looked fantastic, looked so sharp and so quick, and caught Alex a couple times. Granted, Alex did have some issues that he was battling through himself, but just I can't state it enough. I absolutely love both of those guys as fighters and as human beings. I want to see nothing but the best for them. I'm glad that they both had a great showing, and I think that Khalil Roundtree will be back. I think that he definitely will be back in a title fight at some point. And that will take us into the fight night that we got coming up this weekend. Brandon Royval versus, make sure I get this, Tatsuro Taira. Brandon Royval versus Tatsuro Taira. This card has some sneaky fights on it that I think are going to be, there's going to be some highlights. There's going to be some highlight reel finishes on this one, I think. Some prelim fights to keep your eyes on. Obviously, we have the one that I'm looking forward to the most, which is a heavyweight fight, Chris Barnett versus Junior Tafa. I think that one is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if it's going to go the distance or if it's going to be a knockout. It's capable of doing either. Both of these guys do like
happy. Either way, I see a shoey or a big guy front flip.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Man. Both of these guys are. Either way, it's gonna be a fight worth watching. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that one. We also do have Themba Gorimbo and Nico Price. Could be a sweet fight. Could be, depending on how it goes. Jonathan Pierce versus Pat Sabatini, going to be a great fight. That one, essentially a pick'em at this point. It's a very close fight. Two very technical guys, two guys that love to throw down. It's going to be a good one. CJ Vergara is also on this card versus Ramazan Tamirov. The featured prelim, Chidi and Joe Kwani versus Jared Gooden. That one at welterweight, I think, is going to be a barn burner. I think that somebody's getting put out in that one. You never know. I've been wrong. It happens. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But I think that one's going to be exciting. So a lot of sweet fights on the prelims on this one. Make sure you are tuned in early. Make sure you are ready because it's going to be good. We are going to kick off the main card. We have Gage is going to let us know about Abdul, Razak, Alhassan versus Josh Fremd to open up the main card.
This is a lot of losing streaks on the line here for both of these guys. Abdul is 39 years old going into this fight against a 30-year-old Josh Fremd. He's been in the UFC since 2018. Has been doing it for a long time, and this is one of those rare ones where it's not really the older guy being fed to the younger guy, because Josh Fremd is also 0-3 in his last 3 fights. Abdul, I think, is 0-5 in his last 5 fights. If I have to go back, because he did not win in his last fights all of last year, and I think 2021 as well. Sorry, 2022 as well. Key to this fights, it's Josh Fremd. Can he get the takedown? He hunts submissions. He pressures well. His hands are okay, but it's not going to overwhelm you. If Abdul can stuff the takedowns, he's probably going to have a good chance of winning this. If Josh can get to the takedowns, start working submissions and getting Abdul in the precarious positions, I think he's going to lock it up pretty soundly. I would see submission in the second round. If the game plan is not working, he also doesn't have good takedown defense, Josh. So if Abdul wants to take him down and hold him there, ground and pound, it'll work. It'll work. But even all that said, give me Josh Fremd, second round submission. Give it to me.
Yeah. We're pretty much simpatico on that one too. That's exactly how I feel. Sean, do you have any rebuttals on that one, brother?
If you want something safe though, Josh Fremd decision is also safer.
Yes. Great call. Sean, agreements, disagreements?
Yeah, I was gonna go with decision, so I'm like, but yeah, I was picking the same person, so I'm in.
I like it.
There.
I like it. Starting it off unanimously. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Speaking of beautiful stuff, this next fight, this might be the one that I'm looking forward to the most, just because I'm such a big fan of D-Rod. We got at 170, Sean is going to let us know about Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono.
Yeah, Daniel Rodriguez is always fun to watch. He's bringing the fight every single time. I think he got kind of scammed his last fight with, what was his name? Didn't make weight. Gastelum didn't even try to make weight. He even called it a couple days prior that he didn't believe he was going to try to make weight and said, hey, I want 30 or 40% of his purse because I already know he's not going to make weight. He's not even trying. And it sucks. And he ended up losing a decision because one guy didn't even try to make weight while the other one did make weight officially. And then they moved it to a catch weight anyway. But in this fight, Daniel Rodriguez, 17-5, 8 KOs, 4 submissions. Alex Morono, 24-10, 6 KOs, 7 submissions. Daniel Rodriguez has lost his last 3 fights, but all against killers. You can't really be upset with him. He's 6'1", 37 years old, doesn't fight. Like 37 is not old age in MMA, it seems like anymore. Like it's a lot of good fighters at 37. 74-inch reach. Morono, he's 2-3 in his last 5. Also has fought some really good opponents. Not as much of killers as Daniel Rodriguez has, but still very good opponents. He's 5'11", 34 years old, a 2-inch disadvantage at 72-inch reach. Daniel Rodriguez, obviously the better boxer. Morono, I would say, would have the advantage on the ground, but not by much. But what we've seen with Rodriguez is he's no more really as much as a submission guy. It's more he uses his grappling to get back to the feet and try boxing. Morono, the way he wins this fight is by trying to keep it on the ground and pound. But this is one of those fights that it could be a sneaky fight of the night. Like these guys could just go to war for 3 rounds. I could see them standing there and just going at it. Definitely after seeing Alex Morono's last fight where he just stood there with Nico Price for 3 rounds, and Nico beat him, which was a big one for Nico too, because he was on a bad stretch.
Well, Alex Morono took that fight way short notice as his gas tank.
That's true. That is true. And this could be a bounce back fight. Both guys haven't had the greatest streaks recently. One being 3-fight losing streak, other 2-3 in the last 5. So they both want to get on the right stretch to try to, because they're not too far outside the top 15. Neither one of these guys. I could see this being like a 3-round war. It's tough to ever pick this one to be a decision, but I'm going to say D-Rod wins this by decision, 29-28. But if either one of these guys get the finish, I would not be surprised. But this one, how the fight ends is totally up in the air. But I'm going to go D-Rod winning this one.
Yeah, I definitely see D-Rod having the advantage in most facets, but you can never count out Alex Morono. Super awkward the way he stands and fights, and that awkward style does get you places. Just I don't think he shows up with that smaller gas tank because he's been in fight camp. Always shows up ready to go. And again, I would be surprised if it went to the cards, but if it doesn't go to the cards, I think D-Rod is the right choice for sure.
Sean, let us know what your thoughts are on this co-main event.
I'm going to break down a little bit of some of their stats first real quick. Jun-yong Park, 17-6, 5 KOs, 6 submissions, won 4 of his last 5 fights. He's 7-3 in the UFC. 33 years old, 73-inch reach. Brad Tavares, 20-10, 5 KOs, 2 subs. So most of his fights go to decision no matter what. Lost 3 of his last 4. 6'1", 36 years old, 74-inch reach, so he has a 1-inch reach advantage, 3-inch height advantage. I'm a big fan of Jun-yong Park in general. Like, I'm pretty sure most of us are going to probably pick him just out of favoritism, even if anyway. So, the stats go his way too. He looks like a better fighter all the way around. I do think it's going to go to decision because Brad Tavares, even if he does get hurt, he is very durable. I've seen him multiple times where it looks like he's going to be finished in the first round and he somehow toughs out a decision. I do think this will be – it could even be a 30-27 for Park, but I always like giving some respect to the other fighters, so I'm going to say 29-28 by decision. I'm going Park.
I do think that Jun-yong Park is going to go ahead and get this one by decision as well. Brad Tavares has never been submitted in the UFC. It looks like the past couple of wins for Jun-yong Park have been by submission, the last 3 of his wins. But I don't think that Brad Tavares is going to be able to be submitted very easily. He hasn't, he's shown that throughout his UFC career as well. And then I would also say that to definitely put this one over a round and a half as well.
Gage, and wrap it up for us. Are we going unanimous on this?
Give me the Iron Turtle.
Iron Turtle.
Jun-yong Park decision. If you put a bet on it, be aggressive here. Bet it over 2.5. This one, I think you could be a little more aggressive with the rounds.
Yeah.
Brad Tavares is a tank, but you never know what Brad Tavares you get. And he's capable of being hurt. He's capable of being taken down. He's not capable of being submitted, so he's a hard put away, which is just extend this fight. So I think it goes late. So over 2.5 for sure.
All right, for the main event, we have Brendan Royval, the number 1 ranked flyweight, versus, oh boy, I'm going to mess this one up. Sorry, guys. Tatsuro Taira. 16-0, young kid, 24 years old, just dominating. 4 of his last 5 fights in the UFC have all been by finish. He's just a huge hype train at the moment, but if he wins this, he's fighting for the title. There's no doubt about it. The reason they made this fight like this. He's odds-on favorite, minus 225 on ESPN currently. I'm going to pass this over to Gage first to go tell us who you think is going to win this one.
This is going to be an absolute fire fest of a fight. Tatsuro Taira can do it all over. Strikes at a great clip, has power, has takedowns, can defend a submission, can defend a takedown, can go for a submission. Last fight, 55% striking on 45% efficiency for significant strikes, 2 for 2 on takedowns, finished the fight round 2. The hype train's real because he's so young, so efficient, so dynamic in every facet of the game. But he's kind of running into a brick wall with Brendan Royval. Can he run through the brick wall is where it gets hard because Brendan Royval has lost a lot. Yes, he had 7 losses. But if you look at the guys he's lost to, the guys held the belt at one point or another. And it's a good track record that he's in these great fights every time he's there against high-level competition. So he meets his competition's level every single time I think he's in the octagon. And it's a great trait to have. Tatsuro Taira, though, I just think he's too dominant everywhere. If something's not working for him, he can switch it, and he'll just dominate there. And I do think this goes to the card. Brendan Royval's absolute tough out. So I officially want to go Tatsuro Taira decision, but in the world, there's a chance gets to round 4. Taira's gas tank is just not there, and Brandon Royval sure is. He's been in those 4 or 5 round fights, and if Taira slows down, Brandon Royval will suffocate him and win. But I'm banking Tatsuro's conditionings and cardio's there, so that's why I'm going him decision.
All right, so we're going to say, I'm assuming that line's probably like 3.5, so you'll say over 3.5, or do you want to just say, or your 4.5 is the line? Yeah. All right. So we'll do. Do you want to do 4.5 over 4.5, or do you want to just say go in distance?
I'm saying if it's the line's 3.5, take over 3.5.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So over 3.5, because they both can finish. So I'm assuming that it's not 4.5.
Yeah,
Matt,
it's gonna be a tough out for either of them, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. Matt, who do you got in this fight?
I think that this one's a pretty tough one. I think Brandon Royval has shown that he's a lot better of a fighter than he was a while ago. He's very active as well. So is Tatsuro Taira. I really like the activity on both ends. They both have 5 fights within the last 2 years, and then 5 fights within the last 2.5 years for Royval. I do think that there's going to be a pretty big power difference. I think Royval probably has the speed advantage. He'll be able to touch him more times than Tatsuro Taira would be able to, but the shots aren't going to be. It's going to be pretty evident how the damage and the difference between them. And I think that Tatsuro Taira would be able to win the first couple of rounds, maybe slow down, as Gage said, within the end, and maybe Brandon Royval can pick up a round in like the 4th or the 5th. But I ultimately see Tatsuro Taira getting this done by decision as well.
I didn't catch everybody's pick, but I am going with Jun-yong Park on that one. He's one of my absolute favorites, and I feel like that dude can just weather any kind of storm that anybody throws at him. He's got a hard shell, pun intended. The main event, obviously, I'm rooting for Brandon Royval, but Tatsuro Taira is a tough dude. I believe his last 5 fights, 4 of them ended in finish. And I think that Brandon Royval, he's got the experience. He has the higher up fights, like the more high profile fight experience, where Tatsuro Taira is just like starting to break into those high profile fights. My heart is with Brandon Royval. I think that he's capable of getting it done, but I think that Tatsuro Taira is going to be a really tough fight for him.
Someone messaged Drew in Discord to just tell us so we go put it
under 4.5 rounds.
4.5.
Under 4.5.
Under 4.5. All right, for Drew. All right. I think we're all going to be unanimous on who we're picking to win this.
We're not unanimous. Drew went Royval.
Did he? Yeah. Oh, I messed up on that. Yeah, we're not unanimous. I'm going Tatsuro. I think the hype train is real with him. Like Matt said, the power is there, and I think the power might be too much here. I think we might actually get a TKO KO fairly early in this fight. I'm actually going to be going under 4.5. Also, if I had to make an actual pick, I'm probably going to even say 3rd round TKO KO, because he could get ground and pound. His ground and pound is disgusting. He does look for the neck to get to submission, but Royval is extremely good on the ground, and he's not going to give up the neck easily, and I can see a ground and pound finish here. So I'm going to say a 3rd round finish for Tatsuro by TKO, and that is it for our main event.
Let's go right into the lock and dog of the week.
Yep.
Presented by Drew's Internet Connection.
Oh man. Does anyone have a absolute lock on this main card they feel?
And
Are we going Park?
Julia.
Julia, we're going Julia for a lock.
I personally go Julia. Or Grant. Actually, fuck it, Grant Dawson.
Yeah, Grant Dawson is a minus 475 too.
Yeah, I would either say Julia or Grant Dawson.
Take your pick.
Well, you can also don't sleep on Alex Morono. Like he definitely can win that fight, but I think
just D-Rod is.
Yeah, D-Rob's really good. That Brandon Royval has fought the best of the best, so it's like you got to give the man the credit where it's deserved.
It's the most live dog on the card.
Yeah.
At plus 230. Yeah, like you got to give it a look.
Yeah, and he has a number 1 next to his name, and he's an underdog. So
it's you can't not give him dog status for that.
All right. So we're running with lock of the week is Grant Dawson, and then underdog of the week, Brandon Royval.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we're running with.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. That is our fight predictions, our bet predictions, our recap of 307, and our look forward to this fight night and how things will be shaping up for that fight night. Once again, thank you to our sponsor, Vivid Seats. Thank you, Sean, for co-anchoring, Matt for getting here, getting some picks in, showing the support, and thank you for all of you for tuning in. You can catch us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, X, formerly known as Twitter, and on the TikTok as well. Follow the official Fight Pit. Follow House Score Sports. Thank you to Drew's Interconnection once again, and thank you all. Peace.